the book was, written with intense detail, and the actor, to make that come to life, must be intense detail within. Alrighty. Alright, guys, welcome back to the Actor's Abyss, where we talk about acting, actors, and anything acting related. Today we're going to talk about reading, in particular, books. Read. Because when you get to the 180 pages of scripts, yeah, you might have more time and all this stuff, and you might have people help you, but professionally, you don't want no one to help you, and you don't want to have a lot of time. That's that's excuses. Get the script, read the book, move on. Next thing, push forward. When you read a script, actors in general, when we get auditions, we get 2-3 pages, right? Maybe 4. And we read them and we work them and we send them out, and then maybe a couple days later we get another one. So we think, oh, we're reading so much. I read so many scripts. No. First of all, they're very fragmented, meaning 2-3 pages don't give you really much. And you're so focused on your audition and who the character has to be and if you're doing the work, right? You're not really absorbing reading material. And once you're done with it, most of you guys just throw that shit out. You don't even remember it 2 days later, unless you're optimistic and you're rehearsing the lines because you think you booked, right? But it's not considered necessarily reading. Here's another thing, a third reason why you should read more books. Every time I notice a lot of actors, every time they read a script and they read it to me and they're like, okay, just help me with this audition, they come in with the same genre. They always think it's either drama or comedy. And and it's like, okay, I mean, I get it, it might be probably it is, and probably it is, but the fact is that you're always thinking that's exactly what it is. It just tells me that you don't really dissect scripts and words in a different way, in a different artistic way. And I think that would at least help break the mode of doing that, is reading books, reading crime novels, reading romance, reading nonfiction, reading fiction, reading fantasy, self-help, whatever, but reading. And I know it's reading. If you're an actor and you're saying, man, reading sucks, that's kind of stupid. It's like a chef saying, oh man, I have to use a knife. Why? But you don't want to? Why? You can make things better that way. I mean, yeah, you can just rip it apart with your hands. Or I want to use salt. Why not? Salt's good. Do it. So you want to be able to read often and consistently, and fast too. Part of the thing with reading too, it expands your mind. You see characters differently. You relate to them differently. You see in books. One of the pleasures we get from books that we don't get from scripts is that we get a lot of inner dialogue. And that's important because maybe as a young actor, you may not really know what inner dialogue is for a character you're creating, right? Maybe you didn't do all of Stanislavski and did a lot of, method of Meisner and Lee Strasberg and Uta Hagen. Maybe you're just coming at it hey, I want to be an actor. Okay, cool. There is avenues for that. But you have to expand your knowledge in a way that it's not, if you don't want to go down the route of training and going to school and all that stuff, you have to expand that knowledge in one way or the other. And one of the best ways to do that is by reading, to see what an inner dialogue it looks like from not just one character, the main protagonist, but many characters in the book, right? If it's a fantasy adventure book, if it's a romance novel, what is that inner thing that the female or the male protagonist in that romance novel is thinking and feeling? And you can feel that in a different way that we don't really get that in scripts, right? Because in scripts, we're kind of the people who bring that to life. We're the ones who make that part of the script look like the books, right? That's why they always compare the script to the book. Book is better, yeah, because the book was, written with intense detail, and the actor, to make that come to life, must be intense detail within, with their behaviors and with their thoughts and their actions and their movements and their relationships. If they don't bring that fully to life, then yeah, the book is always going to be better. So get into the habit of reading. Read as much as you can. And acting books too. I know so many actors, literally pretty much 90% of the actors I know, and I don't mean to bash people, but 90% of the actors I know, you haven't read an acting book in 15 years, in 10 years. You might have read 6 pages of one book, or I read D.W. Brown book on camera. It's a good book, by the way. Good book. Oh, I read that book, when? Oh, 2 years ago. Oh, yeah? What was your favorite part about it? And if you don't remember it, read it again. Get back into that book, Read. You got to be able to read. I know it sounds lame and it sounds, But that's the part that makes the actor a master, right? That separates you from the herd. Because imagine if me and you're talking, I'm a casting director, blah, 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 we're having a conversation, and you whip out some crazy information about a book, that only a few people know about, and it's an acting book, and I happen to know it. I look at you like, okay, superstar, what you know? What you know? It gives you something. And not just that too, but when you are talking to other actors, you want to be able to feel like you can hang in that conversation if they really get into a really deep conversation about acting. Like if me and three other people are talking about acting and we're getting into the nitty gritty, the craftsmanship of it, and you don't want to be back there like sitting there like, oh shit, I don't know anything these fucking people talking about. You want to be like, well, actually on camera acting, he has a good, topic on doing whatever you have to do, or the day of. D.W. Town talks a lot about the day of the set, the day of, where a lot of variables can happen. But if you can't even mention that bit of information because you haven't read the book, then yeah, I mean, you're in the back, in the weeds, And believe it or not, like we're not trying to pass judgment on anyone, but we do still pass judgment. You want to be a master actor, but you don't do none of the master actor things like study, work, rehearse. One thing that peeves me is that actors will say that they don't, what to do outside of auditioning and on the set. Whoa, there's so many things to do. Reading is one of them, You got to read. It's not only beneficial for your craftsmanship, but it is beneficial for you as a person. I think the more knowledge you get, the more. There's a quote. I forget who it comes from, but it goes, if you know one thing, you can do one thing. If you know 1,000 things, you can do 1,000 things. And I think that's the kind of idea, like what it is, like what reading does. The more you read, the more you consume literature, the more you are able to put out different forms of literature in the behavioral sense of the actor, like how we sell things. Yeah. Read a fucking book. Stop playing with yourself. Do it for your damn career. A tool that I use, I have a goals list. I have a 3 months, 6 months, and a year-long goals list. On my 3 months goals, I read 2 books, one acting related and one, non-acting related, and absorb as much as you can. That's going to help you in the long run when it comes to your career as an actor.